You know that feeling, right? You've got this huge, important task or maybe a brilliant idea, but you just can't start. You're smart, you're capable, so why is it so hard to just get going? Well, we're about to unpack the real science behind why smart people procrastinate. And trust me, the answer is probably not what you think. And that's the first place our minds go, isn't it? Ugh, I'm just being lazy. The deadline is breathing down your neck, but suddenly cleaning out your inbox seems absolutely critical. It's so easy to beat ourselves up and just slap the label of laziness on it. But what if that's completely wrong? What if there's a much more complex and frankly, more interesting reason behind it all? So here is the big shift in thinking we need to make. The common view, what we've all been told, is that procrastination is a character flaw. It's a failure of willpower. But the science tells a totally different story. It's not a moral failing. For so many of us, it's actually a biological response, a built-in defense mechanism that's kicking in. Okay, so let's pop the hood and see what's going on upstairs. We'll start with what I call your brain on standby because it perfectly explains the logic of why we resist. See, this isn't random. There's a reason your brain hits the pause button. And this is the paradox of being a deep thinker. Your analytical mind is, of course, a huge advantage, most of the time, but it can also lead to what we call analysis paralysis. Your brain wants to see the whole chessboard. It wants to figure out the perfect move, the most efficient path before it even begins. And that hunt for perfection, it becomes this giant wall that stops you from taking that first simple step. You can almost see the dominoes fall, can't you? First, you start analyzing the task. And because you're smart, you immediately detect all the complexities, the ambiguities, the uncertainties. Our brains are wired to hate uncertainty, so it immediately sends out a flare signal of mental discomfort. And what's the brain's easiest escape hatch from discomfort? Procrastination. It's a protective move. But wait, it's not just about thinking and logic. There's a whole other piece to this puzzle, and it's all about feeling. This is what we'll call the dopamine dilemma, and it dives right into your brain's powerful internal reward system. So what is dopamine? In simple terms, it's the go-get-it chemical. It's the molecule of motivation. When your brain anticipates that something good is about to happen, it gives you a little hit of dopamine that says, hey, do that thing. There's a reward at the end. It's what drives us to seek out pleasure. Now, here's the catch for a highly intelligent person. Your brain is like a high-performance engine. It needs high-octane fuel. It craves stronger mental stimulation to get that satisfying dopamine release. So when you're faced with a boring, repetitive, or emotionally difficult task, there's just not enough reward on offer. And what does your brain do? It goes hunting. It searches for something more engaging, something with a quick, easy payoff, like, you guessed it, social media. And just look at the math your brain is doing in milliseconds. On one side, you've got that difficult project, a low, distant reward. On the other side, you've got your phone, a high, immediate reward. Faced with that choice, your brain's ancient reward-seeking circuitry is almost always going to vote for the instant gratification. It's a no-brainer for your brain. Let's just pause on this for a second because it is so important. This is not you being weak. This is not a flaw. This is your brain running an ancient survival program designed to steer you away from pain and towards pleasure. The only problem is that in our modern world, that instinct can backfire and keep us from our biggest goals. Okay, so now we get it. We understand the why. Now for the good part, the how. How do you actually fight back against this deep-seated programming? Well, it comes down to a deceptively simple but incredibly powerful trick called the 5-minute rule. This is how you start to take the power back. This quote just nails it. It gets to the absolute core of the problem. So many of us believe that we have to wait to feel motivated. We sit around waiting for this magical lightning bolt of inspiration to strike before we can even get started. But that, right there, is the trap. Here's the truth. Motivation is an emotion. It's fickle. It comes and goes. Action, on the other hand, is a choice. It's something you can control. And here's the secret they never tell you. Motivation doesn't lead to action. It's the other way around. Action is what creates motivation. So, how does this amazing rule work? It's almost laughably simple. 1, don't even think about the entire project. Just pick the single, tiniest, easiest part you can possibly do. Maybe it's just opening the document and typing your name. 2, commit to doing just that one tiny thing for only 5 minutes. That's it. Anyone can do anything for 5 minutes. And 3, Just let momentum do its thing. Because what you'll find is once you start, the resistance just melts away, and your brain says, hey, this isn't so bad, and it just keeps going. And that's really the whole game. Procrastination feels like this giant monster, but all of its power is packed into that single moment of starting. If you can win that first battle, you win the war. Control that start, and you really can control where you're headed. So I'm going to leave you with a question. That big thing you've been putting off, that project that feels so overwhelming, just for a second, what's the smallest possible first step? What's your 5 minutes? Think about it and then go do it. You might just be surprised what happens next.